Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm your host Tom Dunn, and our topic today is the Port Hueneme Chamber of Commerce CEO, Tracy Sisson Phillips. Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me.
First of all, give us a little personal bio of what your experience has been leading up to you being the CEO.
Okay. Well, I moved to Port Hueneme when I was 5 years old, when my dad retired from the Air Force. My grandmother was living out here, and it was time to move back to be closer to family. So my education consisted of all of the local schools. I went to Sunkist Elementary, B.O. Green Junior High, and graduated Hueneme High School. Once a Viking, always a Viking. Go Vikings. And from there, I worked for the Naval Air Base, then Construction Battalion Center, Port Hueneme, to date myself, for a couple years over at the medical clinic, and then ventured out into private industry and sold cars for a few years, did some corporate work for a civil engineering firm, went back to school to earn my bachelor's degree and master's degree in the early 2000s, and took a job Sony Electronics. Was relocated because my spouse was in the Navy, so moved from here down to San Diego for a while, and then off to the great state of Texas for a short tour as he finished up his naval career, and then back here where I joined Amgen for a few years. So I've got some corporate background, got some small to medium-sized business background, and happened to just be lucky enough to be at a chamber meeting and heard the interim president of the then president and CEO of the chamber say that she was the interim, and she kept saying it over and over and over again. And I'm like, so why are you interim? And it just happened to be at a time where I was needing to look for a career change. And lo and behold, 3 years later, here I am, still working for the Chamber of Commerce in Port Hueneme.
What's your mission for, what's the Chamber's mission for, let's just say, the next 5 years?
Well, the Chamber's main purpose is to be a business advocate agency. So we actually take pride in being the advocate for small business, for a business that doesn't necessarily have the funds or the depth to have a legal department. We take charge and help advocate for business, particularly where it comes to legislation that might be detrimental to their business, where you've got larger corporations like an Amgen who have attorneys that can go out and defend things like a minimum wage increase or special considerations for different types of employees. Those do have long-range impacts on a small business. Big business can look to reduce expenses, to retain profit margins, where small business, some of these regulatory things that come along end up hurting the small business person by requiring them to either lay off staff or close their doors.
Yeah, they don't even have money for a lawyer, a lot of them, and they need you guys to guide them and help them figure out what they can do to keep their business going, and it keeps them employed, and it keeps them living in Port Hueneme.
Yes, and it's interesting because for a small business, it's being able to hook those people up with the services. So we worked closely with the Economic Development Department at the state level. We work with the EDC, different organizations to help connect people with resources, whether it be advice, financial, just a plethora of connections that we can help them make, not to mention also being able to help them navigate the processes of the city whenever they are looking to become a new business owner.
Out and around the city, I do have people that say, boy, there seems to be a number of storefronts that are vacant. And I would think that with the Chamber working with the city of Port Hueneme would be one way. Hopefully we could come up with some ideas, some innovations to help fill those spots that are available.
Yes, I think that would be a great opportunity to partner with the city and with our residential, not residential, but our commercial real estate agents. What spaces. The Old Mary's Market, I can't tell you how many times I've called the realtor and said, hey, just Tracy from the Chamber checking in, what's going on, what can I help you? What did it take to bring in, that next market? I mean, it impacts me where I live in the city. I'd love to have a market of some sort of size. in that particular space, that I didn't have to go all the way over. Not like it's all that far to go to Ralph's, but you know, to get a quart of milk or some cheese, you know, at 8 o'clock at night, it's not that far from where I live. Taking the time and making it a purposeful decision to make your purchases in the city, and I will use Do It Best as an example. I know Do It Best, as most people maybe do or do not know, has closed, and I'm not privy to the details of why exactly that happened, but sales, they're a retail establishment. People needed to go in and purchase product from them in order for them to stay open. So now it does come when you need that small piece. It's not just running down to the Do It Best to get it. It's going into the other side of town to the long-standing, you know, I'll say it. We got to go to Keen's Hardware now in Oxnard, you know, which was the only place for several years until Do It Best came along. Or you're driving down to Home Depot, which is, you know, I'm a big proponent of saying that 7 miles is not that far to go to get from the freeway to Hueneme, and it's not. If you have to go to Home Depot, it's not that far away. But why go that far if it's something small that you need? But too many times than not, we find ourselves going out to get that. So it's kind of a catch-22. You know, you bring in a business like a Ross, so now we can stay and shop in our own city, but if we don't continue to, that potentially has the, you know, there's a potential for that to run away.
I think what you say is true about, you know, they didn't have the sales, but I found usually they had what we needed at the hardware store, and I hate to see it go. And that's why on Hello Port Hueneme we have tried to feature local businesses so that people are aware they're there, what the services are that they have, and will shop and spend their money here.
Yeah.
At Port Hueneme, Hello Port Hueneme, we would like to work with the chamber and make it available when you have a new business that they can come and do an interview also. Being there's no radio, TV, or newspapers, if you're off the main drag, it's hard for people to know that you've opened up a business. And we'd be more than happy for you to direct them here, and we'll be more than happy to give them some time to tell everyone about their business. Thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate it so much, Tracy.
Thank you so much, Tom.
All right. Thank you guys for watching Hello Port Hueneme, and please keep tuned, and we'll have another good show on our next edition. Goodbye.